Welcome to the Ponder Scope, your Arlington High School news, updates, and more. Are you interested in a chance to be featured in this year's yearbook? Then make sure to send photos of you and your friends dressed up for theme days from this past Spirit Week. Send all your photos to the AHS Yearbook Committee at ahsyearbook@spyponders.com. Be sure to also add a description of who is in the pictures and what grade each person is in to potentially be selected. AHS has launched a new school-wide Instagram. Be sure to follow at AHS Ponders to stay up to date with AHS events, vote on school decisions, and more. In order to increase followers, the account offers prizes when a specific number of followers is reached. After recently hitting 200 followers, there will be a ping pong event next week on Halloween where students have the opportunity to win candy prizes. Make sure to continue to spread the word for similar events in the future. Dream Far is looking for students to join this year's Arlington Marathon team. Dream Far is an organization with 100 students from across the Boston area that train for and run the Providence Marathon in May. If you are interested in getting involved, fill out the survey on the Daily Post or contact Ms. Conlon at cconlon@arlington.k12.ma.us by next Friday, November 1st. Registration for winter sports is now open. To sign up, use familyid.com. For more information on the registration steps, visit the Arlington Athletics website. I'm Sagar Rastogi, and this has been the Ponder Scope. I'll send it over to Nick now for this week's sports update.
Welcome back, Arlington sports fans. The Ponders are looking as strong as ever as we enter the last weeks of the regular season. On Wednesday the 16th, boys soccer defeated Lexington, the undefeated and #1 team in the state, by a score of 2-0. The goals came from senior captains Declan Dolan and Sean Connolly.
Corbett was there. Uncharacteristic of Lexington. Johnny Connolly looking to close the space on Carlin Hay. Oh, he scores! Uncharacteristic error by Benet. Burnett. And Arlington goes up 2-0. Arlington goal number 10. Johnny Connolly.
Unfortunately, after putting it all out there on senior night, the boys lost to Winchester 2-0 and then Belmont 1-0. Earlier in the week, I sat down with the boys' varsity soccer captains to discuss the season and upcoming playoffs.
A home game for us would be our last game at the high school, and obviously the support that we get at the home games, it's just a huge factor, especially the last couple of years when we've been able to get a lot of people at the playoff games. Last year against Belmont, it was a really tough game, really tough conditions, but then we had the crowd there, went all the way to a penalty shootout, and then kind of used the boost from the crowd to get that win out, and then obviously propelled us to go really deep in the tournament. So a playoff home game would be very big for us.
Girls soccer was on the road last week with a 0-0 tie against Lexington, a 3-2 loss to Notre Dame Academy, and came back home to Pierce Field to tie Belmont 1-1. Last Friday, football lost a heartbreaker in overtime to Belmont with a final score of 35-33. I think you're right. I think Arlington has to switch up the play a little bit, but oh no!
Not
he
this
gets
time.
through.
Callahan! He's going level! 30, 20, 10, touchdown! Spy Ponder!
With a tough stretch of 3 games in 3 days, field hockey clinched playoffs against Woburn with a 7-1 win. The first time in 10 years the program has qualified for tournament play. After that, they suffered a loss to Belmont and tied Reading. But now, we look ahead to some upcoming matchups. Boys soccer looks to close out their season on a high note against Reading on the road this Friday. Girls soccer hosts Reading for senior night this Friday the 25th at 6 p.m. And football heads to Winchester this Friday at 7 p.m. On Monday the 28th, girls soccer will be back at home to host Winchester at 6:30. That's it for this week's edition of Sports Update. Make sure to tune in next week to see how our Ponders finished off their seasons. I'm Nick Antonakis, and I'll see you next week.